Hey folks, welcome back to another Facebook Live. I'm Brennan from Bluelight, and this is going out in the Bluelight Police Recruitment and Career Development Facebook group. So almost 20,000 members in that group. So if you're watching this on the recording of this and you're not a member of that group, then check the links below and you'll find the links to join it. Please do come and join the group. It's just absolutely amazing. So as ever, I go Facebook Live in the group without giving people prior warning. So let's just see who manages to join this Facebook Live, where we're taking a look at the conundrum, the challenge, which comes when you get this email. So this is an email sent to one of my clients by Derbyshire Constabulary, Leicestershire Police, Joint Services. They manage the recruitment process between them. It's actually for Leicestershire Police, this one. And it says, congratulations on your recent success at the online assessment centre. Yay, party time, brilliant. Uh-oh, hang on, second paragraph. Although we're unable to progress you for a place on the next PCDA cohort, which commences October 2022. Please be assured we'll be in touch as soon as we have details of the next cohort after October 2022. We'd like to thank you for your patience. What does that mean, was what this client asked me. Well, in a moment I'll share with you my thoughts on that, but first of all, just a few shout outs to those of you watching. So George, Cameron and Harry have just joined. Welcome to you. If you've got any questions or any comments, please do let me know, and please remember to press the like and love button if you're thinking, this is great, I love this. And if you don't love it, then tell me why. Pose questions in the comments, let me know what's going on. That way Facebook will look at this and think, yeah, other people need to see this as well, because you're finding it useful. That's just the way Facebook works. So Lucy's just joined us as well. Welcome to Lucy. So when you get an email like this that says, basically, you've been successful, but there's no place for you on the intakes that we've planned, little alarm bells should go off in your head. I mean, some forces are more direct than this. Cheshire actually just write to you to say, well done on passing. However, your marks weren't high enough. You're not going through to the next stage. It's all about supply and demand, folks. So let's look at it this way. 2,000 people apply to join a small sized police force, which would be about average for a recruitment campaign. They can't put 2,000 people through an online assessment centre. They can't put 2,000 people through a final interview. So they sift the numbers down. So the application form is the first part where they sift the numbers down. They might sift the numbers down from 2,000 down to 700. Let's just say 700. So that's 700 people who are going to go through to the online assessment centre. Out of that 700, let's say 350 pass. So 350 pass out of the 700. Actually, I think the success rate's a little bit more than that, but let's just say 350 pass. They only need 100 candidates. They need 100 people. So we've got 350 who've passed the online assessment centre. We've only got the capability to run interviews for 200 people, because we don't have the staff to run interviews for any more than that. So this is where the first sift will come in. They're going to take that 350 and turn it into 200. How? They're going to use the scores. So the highest scoring candidates are going to go through to the next stage. So often people will ask in the Facebook group, what's the pass mark for the online assessment centre? It doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. What is relevant is how many officers that force needs, what the supply and demand looks like. So they're going to take 200 people through to interview, knowing that probably 20 of them might drop out, so that's 180 they're going to take through to interview. That gives them a little bit of wriggle room in case one of the interviewers can't make it for any reason. So we've taken it down from 2,000 down to 200, down to 180 now, just for 100 places. And so what happens if 150 of the candidates have been well prepared because they're all clients of mine and they've passed the interview, they've scored enough to pass the interview. So that's 150 people who have passed the interview out of the 180. It's not going to be as many as that normally, but let's just say for the purposes of this Facebook Live, that's what happens. They've got 100 places, 150 have succeeded and passed. How are they going to decide who they're going to choose? They're going to choose based on the scores. However, that's 50 people who have actually passed everything. The force is invested in them, but there's insufficient spaces on the next intakes for them. So what they're going to do, well, Cheshire will just say, thanks very much, bye. Other forces will put you into a talent pool. And that's what's happened here. This individual has gone into a talent pool. What that talent pool means is that they're just going to sit there and wait. And they could be waiting for a long time. Based on my experience of doing this for over a decade now, you could be waiting a long time. Actually, you could wait, Surrey did this, other forces have done this, waiting 3 years in a talent pool only to be notified your vetting's run out, you're passing your online, your assessment centres run out, everything is run out, there's no place for you. So at least Cheshire are being upfront and telling people there's no place for them. I'm not going to say for this candidate there isn't a place for them, but it's not looking good because the planned intakes are full. The other intakes into 2023 haven't been planned yet, and they're going to still continue to recruit. So Leicestershire will continue to recruit. And what will happen is more and more people will go into the talent pool, and some of those people might have higher marks than you. So they're going to get pulled out the talent pool first. That's just supply and demand. And that's how many forces decide who they're going to take out of their talent pool. So you could, for this client, you could find yourself on the first intake in 2023, which could be January, February 2023. Equally, you could find yourself waiting several months and getting absolutely nowhere. And who knows what's going to happen next year in terms of austerity. I can see there being a bit of a squeeze on the public sector, and the police are going to get squeezed a lot because the government is going to say, we've provided funding for you for 20,000 additional officers. I say additional in inverted commas because they're not additional. The police service has lost 21,000 officers over the past 10 years. All it's doing is replacing almost the officers that have been taken away from the service. So not additional at all. So what are we going to do to get out of this situation if we are in the recruitment process at the moment? Well, first of all, you're aiming for a high mark. You're not just aiming for a pass. You are aiming to be in the upper 10% bracket of potential candidates. So that way you can guarantee that you don't end up in a talent pool. You get plucked straight out of the talent pool before you're even in it and find yourself in one of those precious places on one of those intakes. So that's important. Get that high mark. That high mark comes from working hard, practicing on a daily basis. It comes from taking uncomfortable action, practicing the interview questions that you don't want to be asked, practicing the questions that you're thinking, I really hope they don't ask this one, practicing for the stage 3 briefing, practicing for the written exercise, practicing for your stage 2 interview, coming to join me on the webinars, joining me on the one-to-one coaching. This is how we make sure that we excel and get really, really high marks. However, if you are in a position where you've got this email, all is not lost. If you are mobile and you can move to a different part of the country, you can always transfer back in 3-4 years' time. If you're mobile, there are forces at this moment in time who will quite happily take transfer scores. So Avon and Somerset is one of them, Thames Valley Police is one of them, and both of those forces don't require any form of final interview. All they require is a pass in the online assessment centre. So that is an option as well, transfer your score. Apart from that, there's not really many other options, except that one of my clients about 4 or 5 years ago was stuck in a talent pool for South Wales Police. She got a mark of 58%, I think it was, where the pass mark was 50%, and she'd been stuck in this talent pool. They call it a talent pool, what a name, eh? She'd been stuck in it for well over a year. So her solution, she applied to a different force, so she could sit the assessment centre with them and completely nailed it. She worked hard, she prepared, practiced. She went for the assessment centre and got a score in the high 60s. And then she took that back to a force that she wanted to join, presented that to them and said, I've got 68% now, Within a week, she was out of the talent pool and she'd got an intake date. So that is a possibility as well. But remember, you can only sit one online assessment centre in any 6-month period. So, but if you're going to be waiting, I mean, this individual is definitely going to be waiting. It's now May. They're definitely going to be waiting for more than 6 months, because the October 22 intake, what's that? May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 6 months away. So they're going to find themselves in a position where they're not going to get any indication at all of any intake until 2023. And like I said, who knows what's going to happen in terms of austerity and the squeeze that the police are going to face. And we already know that the 20,000 uplift is starting to get phased out now, because many forces have already hit their targets. That's what the last report said. There's forces out there have already hit their targets for 2023. So they don't need any additional officers, in inverted commas. They're just going to be recruiting what they used to recruit before, which nationally in England and Wales looked like about between 7,000 and 8,000 officers a year. At the moment, with the 20,000 uplift, we're running on about 15,000 officers a year being recruited. So it's going to reduce by 50%. And for many forces, it's already reduced. And other forces, they'll be slowly phasing out the number of officers being recruited. So that's why it's really important, folks, to get that high mark. Is that making sense, folks? Let me know. Give me some loves and likes. I'm going to do a few shout outs, answer any questions if anyone's got any. Otherwise, then I'll shoot off. So let's do some shout outs to some people who are watching. Lynx has joined us. James, Kieran, Sam, Chanel, Kirsty. Kirsty, you don't need to concern. Oh, no, I think you've got an intake date, haven't you? Robert, Jay Ames, Ash, Kevin, and Chris, Rebecca, and Jack K. Welcome to all of you. I hope you found this useful. Like I said, please do leave some loves and likes. Ben, with an awesome name, Ben Beer Park has just joined. I love that name. I hope that's your real name. It wouldn't be awesome. I love that name. That's like an actor's name, that is, Ben Beer Park. Anyway, Ben's just joined us. Ben, I'm about to go now, but don't worry, you'll be able to watch the replay of this, because once I press the finish button, then I'll press the record and it'll stay in the Facebook group forever and ever. All right, I shall catch up with you very soon, all of you in the Facebook group, and if you're watching this on the recording, check the links below. Come and join the Facebook group. It's outstanding. I'll catch you soon, folks. Bye-bye for now.